up, YouTube? Welcome back channel. Hope you're having a wicked day. And in this video, we're doing something a bit different. Today, I'm doing an interview with Dan K. It's the first time we're doing anything like this. So if you enjoyed this, make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But first of all, Dan K, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, bit ill recently, as you know, we had to postpone this a couple of times, but it's all good now. But yeah, I'm really good. Happy to do this interview. So I think straight away I've got 11 questions that we've both agreed on. So we're just gonna get straight into it. So question one is, first of all, mate, how did you get into Powerchair football?
My mom got me into Powerchair football when I was a teenager. I was 15 at the time. So, get this, we knew Paul Hunt and he mentioned this new sport he was coaching. At first, I wasn't sure about it and didn't really want to go. But you know, moms, she convinced me it would be good for me, and she was totally right. We had to play with our own chairs with a tire wrapped around the front, and let me tell you, I loved it from the get-go. The rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, I actually remember those days as well. I started around that time. We had our day chairs. There's like a tire they used to cut in half, and they used to literally get string and tie it on the front of your day chair. And that was when you used to play in it, mate. Same era, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. So it was interesting time. So if you think about how it was then compared to now, it's a different game, mate, isn't it? It really is. And you must be happy that your mom persuaded you to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been definitely. So we're just moving on to question two. How did it feel to be playing for your home club? And can you just let us know what the home club was?
My experience playing for my hometown club, West Brom. It started off as a dream come true, but slowly turned into a bit of a nightmare.
Uh-oh.
The energy, camaraderie in the beginning were absolutely fantastic, and I felt like I was part of something truly special. However, as time went on, certain individuals within the team began to bring negativity into the mix. Their behavior and attitude started to impact the team dynamic, and the once vibrant atmosphere on the field began to feel strained and uncomfortable. But that's just team sports.
Yeah, that's a bit devastating, isn't it? It must be really difficult. Yeah, that's really a shame because it must have been exciting. It's a home club. You just want to get started. Obviously, it started well. I think most teams do that. Where it starts pretty well and then slowly seems to turn a bit bitter. I've had similar experiences myself, so it's a shame to hear that, mate. But you still had a great time, so it's a shame, but it is what it is, unfortunately. So yeah, moving on. When did you first get picked for England, and how did it feel, mate? Must be amazing.
I first got picked for England back in 2009 or 2010.
Wow.
It was for training though, and back then we couldn't technically call ourselves England because the FA weren't involved yet. But man, it was such an amazing experience. And I've been lucky enough to play in a World Cup and European final since then. Crazy how time flies.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, there's not many players who can say they've done, what you have. And obviously, you've been playing for such a long time. And I believe you've always played Premier League. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That is, isn't it? Yeah, that's astonishing. That's really good, sir.
Me too.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's really good. So, yeah, I can imagine you must have been buzzing. And to be at the World Cup as well, mate, it's nothing better than that, isn't it? That's really good, mate. And then, yeah, next question. How was it when the manager changed at West Bromwich Albion?
When I was at the club, the manager changed not once, but twice. The first two were all right, but you know what? The last one was just awesome. I preferred him so much because he was amazing. He kept the spirits up during the tough times, and I learned a lot from him.
All right, so you had to go through quite a lot of change you know, three coaches is quite difficult to deal with. But I'm happy to hear that the last one did really well. That's really good. It's unfortunate about the other two, but sometimes, you know, players and coaches don't quite click. And unfortunately, it's just part of the game, isn't it? So that's unfortunate. But yeah, the last one must have been really good. Who was the last one, if you don't mind saying, or shall we keep that quiet? If you don't want to say, don't worry, mate.
It was Tony K.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, he was really good. I remember playing against you guys a couple of times back when Evergreen were in the Premier League. I remember it was always tough playing you guys. You know, you guys are all physical. You know, it's really good. So, yeah, the old days, isn't it? The old days. I just want to say, you know, back then it was just a bit about fun, you know. I feel like nowadays it's a bit too serious and competitive. I don't know what your thoughts on that. Do you agree? Yeah, I think, you know, just a bit too much. Can you tell us about why you retired from England so early on in your career?
I decided to retire from playing for England because the coach there, who used to be one of the Albion coaches before becoming the England manager, told me I wasn't committed enough. Even though I attended all the sessions and tried my best to follow his advice, even though it wasn't that great, he still felt I wasn't up to par.
So you were told you weren't committed enough. How did that feel to be told that?
I nearly laughed in his face.
Okay, that's an interesting response. Okay. Yeah, no, that's a tough thing to hear, you know, especially when you put so much time and effort into it. To be told you're not committed, I think, yeah, it's a bit harsh, I would say. I wouldn't agree with that. And I just feel like if he thought you weren't capable of doing it, do you think it would be better off him saying that? Or do you think saying you're not committed that's not the way to go about it?
If he didn't want me, that's fine. But don't tell me lies. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I would agree with that. I think sometimes being honest is the best way. And, you know, I think players appreciate it when you just tell them how it is. Definitely. All right, so then in 2017, you then moved to Villa Rockets. Can you tell us why it moved and how did it feel to change clubs?
So, the Albion coach, who was my absolute favourite, got sacked halfway through the season. That was a big blow for me, especially after all the hard work we put in to get to the Champions League final. I had already decided to leave at the end of the season because of that, but things took a turn during the next national weekend. I wasn't getting much play time, and the new coach's vibe just wasn't jiving with me. It started taking a toll on my mental health, and I knew I had to make a change sooner rather than later. So, I made the decision to leave that weekend.
Okay, it sounds quite a difficult situation. Yeah, I think sometimes, you know, if it affects your well-being and things like that, because at the end of the day, this game's made for fun, you know. So if you're, you know, not enjoying it anymore, I think a lot of players have been in this situation as well, where they just feel like they need to move. So that's completely understandable. And obviously, if it's a coach that you really get on with, then you want to stay with them, of course, if they're developing your game as well. And you think they know what's best for you, then obviously you want to keep playing for that manager, don't you?
Yeah.
That makes complete sense, mate. And I would say you're not the only person in that boat. I think that happened to me also, actually. Had to move clubs because the coach and me just didn't see eye to eye, sorry. And it was a tough time. So I think you did the right thing, mate. How did it feel when you were playing for them?
I used to love playing Powerchair football when I was younger. It was so much fun, and I have some great memories from those days. But as I got older, the aches and pains started getting worse. So, you know what? I'm actually kind of glad that I'm not playing anymore. It's nice to give my body a break.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, mate, I echo a lot of the things you're saying. I also retired this season, just gone. And same reason as you, mate. My body can't handle it anymore, you know, just getting tired. And, when you're getting dribbled past these young 15, 14-year-old players, you know what I mean? It's difficult to do with. So at the end of the day, you got thinking that me and you, we've both been playing for such a long time. Obviously, you've been much more successful staying in the Premier League all that time. Being in Champions Leagues, playing for England. It's amazing stuff that you've done. But it happens to us all, age catches up. It even happens in, the normal running game. You have to decide, when you can't keep up anymore, to let it go. So maybe it's the best decision, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then, yeah, COVID was a really strange time for all of us. Obviously, we all had to stop for such a long time. So how did it feel when you're able to come back and play after COVID?
So when we came back after COVID, I kind of wish I had retired back then, to be honest.
Oh, man.
I knew I only had about 6 years left in me. But playing again was a good time, no pressure at all. I got to try out more tricks and just enjoy the game. It was fun being out there again.
Yeah, I think for a lot of us, without Powerchair football, it's very difficult because that's the thing that helps us like release and get out of the mindset of being in the condition that we are. Like Powerchair football can help us forget about our condition sometimes and just have fun and meet people. So obviously without that, it was very difficult. So I kind of agree. It was great to come back. It was nice to play, but yeah, I'm sad to hear you thought you should have retired. Then I don't think so, mate. I think you should have done what you did. Keep going for as long as you can. I really think, yeah. That's just my opinion. Obviously, you might think differently, but I think you did the right thing, mate. You got to enjoy it while you could, so that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And then, what happened at Villa, and why have you decided to retire, mate? I think it's too early, but give us your opinion, mate.
I was gonna carry on, even though I wanted to retire. But then the captain phoned us up and said that he wanted to sign a player who I said I would never play with again. I can name him if you want. And I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I said earlier, it was affecting my mental health, and I've got other stuff that's more important than football. It was never as important to me.
Right. Okay, so there was a player that you didn't quite get on. It's completely up to you if you want to name that person or not. I'll leave that up to you, mate. I'm not going to pry too much, but yeah, it's sad, sometimes, you don't get on with certain players. I'll just wait for you, mate. Do you want to name the person or?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'd wait for you to write that out.
Well, they've signed Dave Lewis, so.
Right, okay. And do you want to sort of say why? Is there an issue that you guys had past, or is it just a play style type thing?
I played with him at the Albion, and our attitudes didn't click.
Okay, that's fair enough. So it's a sort of football style reason, you guys just didn't get on. Yeah, unfortunately, mate, I think that happens, There's certain players you just clash with, not because, you don't like them personally or anything. It's just for football reasons. It's difficult. Sometimes, the styles don't match. So that's fair enough, mate. And yeah, unfortunately, it's sometimes how it goes, There's not much you can really do about that. But yeah, it's sad to hear, but it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we've got here, what's your favorite memory from your time playing?
My favorite memory is seeing the joy on my family's face at the first World Cup.
Yeah, it's a special feeling. It must be, to represent your country. Like I said earlier, not many players that could even dream of doing something like that. That's a massive achievement. And yeah, your family must have been really happy and proud. I can imagine, So yeah, that's a really heartwarming thought that to look back at memories like that. That's amazing, mate. Really good. Really happy for you. And the last question I've got here, unless you want to add more, mate, is who's the best player you've played with and against?
The best player I played with is Ed Common, because I always knew where he was on the pitch. And the best player I played against is Momo. He can play any style you want. He's the GOAT.
I think many people would agree with you with Momo being the GOAT. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the last World Cup.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Even the Champions League as well. The Champions League played really well. You know, Momo is a different topic. You could just spend hours talking just about him, but his dribbling ability, you know, you never see anything like that, you know. There's nobody that can get close to that type of dribbling that he can do. He can hit passes, he can score,
Yes.
he can dribble, you name it, he's got it in his bag. So I
Yes.
probably agree with you. And interestingly, you said Ed Common is the best player you've played with. That is Ed Common for me as well, one of the best players in the league, you know, always consistent as well. Obviously now playing
Yeah.
for Teesside as well, he's still dominating there. You know, he's an incredible player. And it must have been really nice to play with somebody like that. Must have been a great experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that's great. You've had a fantastic career, a great memories to look back on. That's great. And before we end, is there anything else that you'd like to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to take a moment to share something with you all. It's no secret that there have been moments in the game where my trust has been betrayed. It can be tough and disheartening when that happens, but I want to let you know that I hold no grudges or bad feelings towards anyone. I believe that life is too short to carry negativity and bitterness in our hearts. Instead, I choose to focus on the positives and look forward to what the future holds for me outside of football.
That's a nice message, mate. It's a beautiful thing to do, beautiful thing to say. Yeah, it's just, I think sometimes we all need to remember it is just a game. At the end of the day, a lot of people think it's their whole life. It really isn't. There are other things outside of the game that we can all do. And, you know, like you said, it's, you know, it is the way it is sometimes. But the sport has, you know, we've all been happy to see you, mate. Yeah, I think you've had a great career. You're a great player. I think it's a shame that you've decided to retire. So I think you could have kept going, mate. But I think as you've explained the circumstances, you know, it's fair enough. And, you know, if you don't enjoy it anymore, then it's not worth it. And when your body's hurting, like you said, like mine is too, it's time to pack it up. Yeah, that was great, mate. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on and doing this interview. I really did enjoy it. And yeah, that was great content, man. Yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to say, we'll close it off there.
Thanks so much, bro. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Oh, great. That is, thank you, mate, so much. I appreciate you watching. And yeah, thank you for reaching out to do this interview. And now the invite is open, obviously, to anybody else as well. If you do want to do an interview, let me know. We can sort it out like we did today. But yeah, man, thank you so much. And I think that's going to be it, guys. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in a bit. And peace.